Chapter 14, Science and Technology. Science is a process of discovering, explaining, and predicting natural or social phenomena, and technology is a form of human cultural activity that applies the principles of science and mechanics to the solution of problems in order to accomplish a specific task. Certainly, societies differ in their levels of technological sophistication and development. In agricultural societies, which emphasize the production of raw materials, the use of tools to accomplish tasks that was previously done by hand or mechanization dominates. Then, as societies move toward industrialization and the mass production of goods, automation, the use of self-operating machines prevails. And as societies move toward post-industrialization, it emphasizes service and information professions. Technology shifts toward cybernation, whereby machines control machines. The world is a much smaller place than it used to be, and it will become even smaller as the technological revolution continues. In 2011, the internet had 2.1 billion users in more than 200 countries, with 240 million users in the United States. I do want to say that the percentage of people who have access to and use the internet in a particular area is higher in industrialized countries. There is some movement toward the internet becoming a truly global medium as Africans, Middle Easterners, and Latin Americans increasingly get online. Postmodernism is the view that rational thinking and science are limited in their ability to provide truths. I want to say that many Americans believe that social problems can be resolved through a technological fix rather than through social engineering. For example, a social engineer might approach the problem of water shortages by persuading people to change their lifestyle, maybe use less water, take shorter showers, and wear clothes more than once before washing. But the technologist would concentrate on the development of new technologies that would increase the water supply. There's something I want to mention from the conflict perspective. They do believe that science and technology furthers the interest of dominant groups to the detriment of others. For example, class, the need for scientific research on AIDS was evident in the early 1980s. However, sufficient money for AIDS research was not provided until it was discovered that heterosexuals and non-IV drug users were at use. So millions of dollars were allocated to AIDS research when the virus became a threat to the mainstream America. Looking at technology and the transformation of society, as far as technology in the workplace, certainly some technology lessens the need for supervisors and makes control by employers easier. For example, the use of identifying characteristics such as hands, fingers, and eyes is part of a technology called biometrics. Certainly technology can make workers more accountable by gathering information about their performance, and we can go on and on and on. But technology is also changing the location of work. It certainly does allow workers to telework, which is to complete all or part of their work away from the workplace. And it certainly has made a more individualistic lifestyle possible. Robotic technology has certainly revolutionized work. This is also called computer-aided manufacturing, which is CAM. 90% of robots do work in factories, and more than half of these are used in heavy industries such as automobile manufacturing. Americans are more likely to use a computer at home than at work. Certainly, use at either location is associated with demographic variables such as higher education and income, which does increase the likelihood of using a computer at home or work. Use at home is highest for the 15 to 24-year-olds, and at work it's the highest for the 35 to 44-year-olds. More than 76.6 households in America own computers. And I want to say that e-commerce, okay, it is the buying and selling of goods and services over the internet. Online retail sales increased by 47% in 2011, despite the slowdowns in the economy. I do want to say most online sales are bargain hunters and convenient shoppers. The internet is also used in health and medicine. It is the third most likely source of health information, preceded by professionals, friends, or family. Online medical records can help improve medical care by providing decades of patient background information to doctors more easily and certainly quicker. And technology can help mediate increasing healthcare cost. Over half of all Americans play video games, although less than a quarter play video games online. As far as politics and the government, technology is certainly changing the world of politics. In 2010, approximately 73% of the United States adults that use the internet went online to find news or information about midterm elections or to send or receive political messages through email, instant messaging, Twitter, and the like. Social network sites such as Facebook, Twitter, and blogs comprise a sector of the internet called membership communities. Membership communities have changed in recent years in three substantively significant ways. One, the number of people who visit membership communities has increased. In 2010, Facebook topped 500 million members around the world. Second, the amount of time that members spend at a membership community site has grown dramatically. And then last, who joins membership communities is changing. Looking at science and biotechnology, genetics is molecular biology that has led to a greater understanding of the genetic material found in all cells, such as DNA, certainly with the ability for genetic screening, and we can go on and on and on. As far as genetic engineering, this is the ability to manipulate and alter the genes of an organism in such a way that the natural outcome is altered. In class, I want to say that genetic engineering may have unwanted consequences. To give you an example, certainly self-insecticide in plants may lead to insecticide-resistant pests. So where you've got your pros, you've always got your cons. As far as reproductive technologies, the evolution of reproductive science has been furthered by scientific developments in biology, medicine, and agriculture. In vitro fertilization is when an egg and a sperm are united in an artificial setting, such as a laboratory dish or a test tube. Abortion is the removal of an embryo or a fetus from a woman's uterus before it can survive on its own. I want to say that since the United States Supreme Court's ruling in Roe v. Wade in 1973, abortion has been legal in the United States. Therapeutic cloning uses stem cells from human embryos, and that's where most of the controversy comes from. I do want to say that it was in 1996 that scientist Ian Wilmot of Scotland successfully cloned an adult sheep named Dolly, and since then cattle, goats, mice, pigs, cats, rabbits, and horses have all been cloned. At the present time, I do want to say that 14 states do have laws pertaining to human cloning. As far as social relationships, social networking, and social interaction, certainly technology does affect social relationships and the nature of social interaction. The development of telephones has led to fewer visits with friends and families. With DVRs and cable television, the number of places where social life occurs, such as movie theaters, has declined. Even the nature of dating has changed as computer networks facilitate cyber dates and private chat rooms. Although technology can bring people together, it can also isolate them from each other. For example, children who use a home computer spend much less time on sports and activities than do non-computer users. There is a loss of privacy and security that comes with technology. Certainly schools, employers, and governments are increasingly using technology to monitor individuals' behavior. They say that 55% of companies retain and review email messages. There's also a problem with identity theft. In 2010, identity theft was the #1 complaint filed with the Federal Trade Commission for the 7th year in a row. And it has also created threats to the security of entire nations, as it is in its use in terrorism. Some technologies replace human workers, such as robots replacing factory workers, word processors are displacing secretaries, and computer-assisted diagnostics reduce the need for automobile mechanics, and we can go on and on and on. And I want to say that technology also changes the nature of work and the types of jobs available. One of the most significant social problems associated with science and technology is the increased division between the classes. I want to say that youth between the ages of 8 and 18 spend an average of 7 hours and 38 minutes a day consuming some type of media. Technological innovations can certainly cause anguish and stress. Also, class, I want to say that nearly 60% of workers report being technophobes, which is fearful of technology. I want to mention gene monopolies because the development of genetically altered crops can certainly lead to gene monopolies, as well as women as egg donors, the harvesting of regenerated organ tissues. Gene monopolies is an exclusive control over a particular gene as a result of government patents. Class, this could certainly lead to astronomical patient costs for genetic screening and testing. And I want to say at the present time, more than 20% of human genes are privately owned.